And then as far as like the team stuff, I think, I always say like I can be a better teammate. I think that's true for a lot of players. Um, I think I've grown through every team I've been on. I think the reputation that I have now, at least from like the community standpoint or like the fan base and everything, what they think is just like really kind of blown out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think people just get tied up in the narratives and stuff, and I think it's just a really inaccurate representation of what I am like as a teammate.
This is Azento from Esports Heaven, doing remote interviews here with FlyQuest top laner solo now. And we're just going to go over that game against Team Liquid because, I mean, it was kind of bonkers to see that early gank. It was very, I guess, daring from Santorin, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, did you call for that early gank? Because it happened at like what 2:30 or something.
Yeah, he just went right at the top.
Yeah, it seems like a really risky route. So like, what was going on with your guys' team plan?
Um, that was a little bit spur of the moment. I mean, we definitely were talking about doing something early on Trundle, and initially we were talking about maybe going bottom level 2, but that didn't really look as promising. And I think he was just pathing top, so he was like, "Oh, this guy looks," because he Impact pushed so fast the first wave that by the second one meeting, he was almost like in front of my tower, right? So he's like, "This guy looks really free. I mean, what is he doing, you know?" And so he just walked up, and Impact didn't ward or anything, so
Yeah.
it was just like walked up, got the kill.
So talking about the Aatrox Renekton matchup, is it normally supposed to go pretty even or?
Um, I think it's just like has a lot of play angles for both sides. I think it's like a pretty even matchup. I mean, Renekton has his timings and his strengths, but Aatrox as a champion is just really good once you like rebound waves. Like whenever the lane is more open and the waves are even or you're pushing, it's really easy to like go on them and punish them and use your spells because you want to be able to hit W, right? And you can't hit that in the wave.
Yeah.
But Renekton also has like advantages of being able to like zip in and out really easily and get small trades in. So I think it's like a pretty even matchup, like kind of player skill, but it can definitely swing like really heavily if like one side gets a lead, which you kind of saw in that game.
Yeah, you completely took over the early game, and then there was a play. I want to say around 26 minutes. You got trapped behind enemy lines. It was like FlyQuest, the rest of your team had to do some save it, Pry and Ryan shit to get to the TP spot, which was next to Wraiths. How were the comms like for that one? Were you just like, we gotta go in now since I TP'd?
Yeah, I mean, the team fights were pretty crazy. I mean, anytime you're facing like a Terra comp, it's you want to go in, then the Terra ulti, then you want to run away, and then you want to kite it out and then come back. So in that fight, it just seemed like a good angle because they were really committing to getting the vision on the Baron, and it looked like, hey, we can collapse on them and maybe fight them. I think I really overestimated how much I could do because I think the smart player clearly would have been to me jump out and then we could just go for the Renekton and get the free kill, right?
Yeah.
And keep the control. But I thought we could. I really underestimated like how much Callista could do because she really was able to like kite me. And I mean, we got like everyone's subs, which was definitely it was like a really bloody fight for both sides. Yeah, it was a very gamble fight. But then I think after that fight, I especially really respected the Terra ulti because after that you saw like the next river fight in bottom, right?
Yeah.
Where we kind of took control. It was like as I go in, as soon as the Terra ulti hits, I just run away, and then we wait for Rakan, right? So we did a good job of adapting. So it's good that we didn't like lose the game from that. I'm grateful that we were able to still kind of go even in that fight. But yeah, I mean, anytime you're facing Terra, you gotta kind of respect his ulti.
Speaking about Aatrox and your TP, how do you like that TP change with getting the move speed boost? Because I imagine with a champion like Aatrox, it's like the bee's knees,
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a really good direction. It kind of makes TP flanks more fun and like actually impactful. Before it's just like, oh, they see you TPing, they just run the other way, and you
Yeah.
can't really catch them. So it's nice that they feel impactful, and I think teams are going to start doing that more, where it's like TP flanks, maybe even do more TP bot lane ganks. Advantages like that, I think, are going to be popular.
So I noticed you got Death Stance this game,
hmm
which now gives more armor and magic resist, of course. What are your thoughts on the rework of this item?
It's. I think overall it's good. Like if you just look at stats wise, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
having 30 MR armor is obviously more valuable than 30 AD, but it is kind of sometimes it feels worse. Because if you're really snowballing, you're just like, man, I really wish I had 30 more AD. I'd be able to just like one shot this carry,
Yeah.
but instead I have tank stats. So in those instances, it seems worse. But overall, it's good. I kind of wish I understand it'd probably be really difficult for new players and if this happened, but it'd be cool if you could build both. Like you get the same item or maybe some name variation,
Mm-hmm.
and you can build like the armor item, or you can build
Kind
the
of like Ravenous, versus what was the other Titanic.
yeah, similar to that, where it's like, I mean, yeah, you have different build paths and you get like kind of the same item with a lot of the same effects. I think that would be cool. Maybe they'll do that in the future, but
Mm-hmm.
overall, I do think it's a buff.
Yeah.
It's like the stats are just better.
Okay. So let's shift over to your team and the roster because I haven't gotten to talk to you for a while, and you've replaced Viper now, seemingly for quite the remaining duration. I'm not sure how that's going. What do you think that you bring to the team that's kind of different from Viper's style?
Um, I mean, we're still like splitting time, and I think the coaching staff is still like looking at options, and I think we're gonna go into playoffs to it in like a 6-man sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think things that like I bring that are a little bit different. I mean, we could definitely do like the sword and shield type of thing that
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
Viper's the sword, I'm the shield sort of joke. But
yeah.
I think Viper's a good player. Nothing against him. I think he's a good player, and I think I just have like a little bit more veteran
Mm-hmm.
type of understanding of the game. I've been playing longer than him, and I've been playing especially like in a more competitive sense longer. So I think they just kind of wanted that stability, kind of going into playoffs and then pushing forward, and then kind of evaluating from there.
Okay, because there was this, I guess, community sentiment, right?
hmm
That you're this bad boy personality, and
Yeah,
you were like shoved off into academy this year, and
I
like.
didn't even play academy actually. I mean, I didn't get any chance to-
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
Yeah,
was
you got shoved away entirely. Yeah, that's
I
right.
got sent to the shadow realm and just had to wait and um,
So like I don't know, there's this idea that you have a difficulty functioning within either a team setting or better yet solo queue. So like what are your I guess how would you address this in terms of just the community criticism of that?
well, I guess first of all, I think the solo queue thing is clearly incorrect. At least I think initially I definitely get where that sentiment started. But
Okay.
like in the last like 2 years, I think that's kind of I mean, it's just kind of like a really old narrative that I
Ah.
think is just like completely inaccurate. If you like ever watch my stream or you see me in games or whatever, it's like clear that none of the past kind of actions I used to do or like person I used to be, it's like
Mhm.
pretty different. Um, and then as far as like the team stuff, I think, I always say like I can be a better teammate. I think that's true for a lot of players. Um, I think I've grown through every team I've been on. I think the reputation that I have now, at least from like the community standpoint or like the fan base and everything, what they think is just like really kind of blown out of proportion.
Mhm.
Um, I think people just get tied up in the narratives and stuff, and I think it's just a really inaccurate representation of what I am like as a teammate.
Mhm.
And I think if you like talk to anybody who has like worked with me personally and like worked in a team environment with me, I think they would say that the current narrative or whatever was spun like before I got on this team has just been like a very like kind of gross exaggeration of like what I'm actually like.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
So
movie cinema type thing.
yeah, and I mean I'm not like gonna pretend like I'm some angel. Like I think Apollo is probably like the best team I've ever had like overall, and I think Apollo is like This amazing
He's,
teammate,
yeah,
great
he's the
guy.
poster child. Of,
Yeah, he's like the poster child,
yeah.
and I'm not saying I'm follow or anything. But, like, I can definitely see why people, like, you know, any type of team environment, like, you're gonna have difficulties, right? And I've always
Yeah.
been like someone not afraid to kind of try and push the team if I think we can win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand where some of the narrative comes from, but I think it's just getting completely blown out of proportion, and hopefully, I mean, I think people are very happy with me what I'm doing on FlyQuest, so you know, hopefully that gets out there and people will start to change their opinions of it. But right now, I mean, it seems good.
So lastly, let's just kind of go over the playoff scenario because you guys are locked in now,
Okay.
which is really great. And now there's a double elim for it's the top 4 seeds in the spring split. So assuming that you guys do get top 4 seeds, which I think is pretty likely. I'm not sure about the rankings at this point in the current day, but assuming you do get top 4 seeds, like what do you think about the new format and kind of what team are you looking to face?
Format looks good. I think it's like a nice variation. Double limb is always like really cool because, I mean, it kind of sucks you're not going to have like, you're probably not going to have upsets like the Clutch Gaming TSM thing.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's probably not going to happen again. But I think it's good for, because you're already playing best of ones. It's so nice to have like more best of fives, and it's going to be nice as a fan to be able to watch like C9 play more games or more sets, right? So I think that part's a really good direction. Who we're trying to face or looking forward to facing? I don't know. I kind of want to face 100 Thieves because I feel like that game was kind of unlucky. Like so many things happened in that game where it was like, oh man, like we were so close to punishing them, and I'd like to have like another series. Or a series versus them, so we can kind of like settle the score a bit.
All right, well, settle the score. I hope you will. This has been Azento from Esports Heaven and Solo from FlyQuest. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.